Just a note on this particular story, I did not research court proceedings or how they actually work. This is just a rough draft that I thought you would enjoy and make you think. Also, this is a work of fiction designed to entertain and be thought-provoking. Please take it as such. Death and Taxes by StoryMan-Jack. Johnny Smith sat in the defendant's chair next to his court-appointed attorney. He hadn't actually asked for one, but since he hadn't said really anything to anyone since his arrest, he gave him his name, but they appointed him one anyway. All rise, the bailiff began, for the Honorable Judge Jason White. Johnny sat firm, yet relaxed. Though everyone else in the courtroom stood, the court officers and the lawyers were all that were really in the room. There was a long silence while everyone else stood. All rise, the bailiff said again, with a stern note in his voice. Johnny just sat and smiled. Young man, the judge said as he sat, I can hold you in contempt. Johnny's smile broadened. Well, that'd be a good thing, because, buddy, I hold you, this proceeding, and just about everything else here in contempt. So by all means, he shrugged, making sure everyone saw that he had only one arm, the sleeve of his orange prison jumpsuit pinned so it didn't catch on anything. I mean, it's obvious I hold you in contempt. The judge looked at the sweating public servant standing next to Johnny. You need to control your client. The lawyer shrugged and said, I'm not even sure what's going on with Mr. Smith. He hasn't said a word to me or anyone since they carried him out of his home. This is the first time I've heard the man speak. He resisted? The judge asked the prosecutor. Not actively, the prosecutor said. Explain, and everyone be seated. Johnny sat, watching with amusement. Well, when officers arrived, they served the warrant. He basically just gave his name, handed them his license, and sat down. The man shook his head, reading from his notes. He let them handcuff him without resistance, but made him carry him bodily out of the home. The judge looked over at Johnny. Do you want to explain yourself, Mr. Smith? Well, sure. Johnny stood. I understand this is just what do you call it, a pre-hearing or something? The judge nodded. Yes, this is just a hearing to read your charges and get your plea. Johnny nodded. Well, that's simple enough, Johnny began, turning so that everyone could get a good look at him. The current government of the United States, he turned and pointed dramatically at the prosecutor with his only good arm, his left one. Say, I have evaded my tax responsibility. And, the judge asked, well, they're lying. I'm not evading my taxes. I simply ain't going to pay them yet, Johnny said. That's the same thing, the judge responded with a laugh. Johnny smiled. I mean, you might think so, but afraid not. You see, I filed my taxes. I know just exactly how much I owe, every penny I should pay. And I will, eventually, maybe. I even sent a letter saying as much. Does that sound like I'm evading anything? The judge turned to the prosecutor. Do you have the letter with you? The prosecutor shook his head. No, Your Honor. We didn't foresee anything other than a standard plea and bail hearing here. Johnny laughed. I don't know about the law, but I've learned that being prepared helps in just about any situation, he nodded to the judge. I can recite it if you want. It's not very long. Your Honor, the prosecutor said in exasperation. We're going to try the case today? Okay, I can, Johnny said, clapping his hands together. I'm ready to do just that. No, the judge said, but I'm curious. Go ahead, Mr. Smith. Johnny cleared his throat in exaggeration. Dear Internal Revenue Service and the agent for whom this concerns. This tax form shows that I owe $7,167.54. I will pay this. However, the date I pay this will be dependent on a few factors. The date that it's announced the government has decided to be more responsible with what I contribute to them, or once the government regains any semblance of restraint, I'll pay my unconstitutional debt, and gladly. And if the course makes you pay, the judge said, sincerely curious. Johnny laughed. Make me? You think you can make me do anything? You owe the government, son. Johnny's laughter stopped suddenly, as the manic man had started, and he grew deadly serious. He unzipped his orange jumpsuit and pulled it down just enough to show that he was maimed and scarred. He wore no undershirt. His arm was gone just below the shoulder, and his back had hideous burn scars and shrapnel potholes all through. Buddy, don't you dare tell me what you think I owe the government. By all truth, they fucking owe me. I gave my blood. I gave my fucking arm for the government, who later went and made a peace deal and gave millions of dollars of weapons to the very terrorists who took those things from me. I lay in a coma for 6 months on my deathbed. I've paid this fucking government enough, and I'm not paying this corrupt administration that has installed destructive policies. I'm not paying for critical race theory or Russian pipelines or more forever colonization wars that are only smokescreens for corporations to loot the rest of our individual hard-earned money. I can sit. I don't have to give you anything. I don't have to do anything. I do have to die, but I don't have to eat and I don't have to drink. Really? The judge asked, almost amused. Oh, you can take my stuff. You can lock me in a box. You can torture me. You can force tubes in me to keep me alive, and you can kill me. But motherfucker, you can't make me do nothing that isn't my own free will. And just a little hint, that phrase, God-given rights, means that I don't get them from you. Well, son, I think you'll find out differently. The judge nodded at the lawyer. You'll have to have your attorney file that plea. Never asked for this guy. I'm representing myself, Johnny told him. You're kidding, right? The prosecutor asked. You're just asking to lose. Do you think so? Johnny asked. If my voice is heard by others, then I'll not lose nothing. A roof to sleep under and 3 square meals a day? Johnny shrugged. I've been blown up, you dumbass. I think I'll survive that. Plea entered, the judge said, and Bell set it $1. Your Honor, the prosecutor objected. James, the judge said to the prosecutor, he'll show up. He wants to make a point, and if he's willing to sacrifice his freedom to do it, maybe we should let him. This ends this little short story, a little rough draft of an idea that came to me. I hope you enjoyed it. And like I said, I know there's issues with courtroom terminology and stuff. My only experience being in a courtroom would be what I see on TV. So if you liked it, please let me know. If you disliked it, even more so let me know. I don't get better unless you guys tell me what I do wrong. But if you like these stories, please subscribe and share them out with everybody that you think would also like them. I'm trying to work hard and get you a story out at least once a week right now. But remember, be kind to one another, and your life is your story. Make it a great one. Thank you.